Hey guys, welcome back to Money and Politics, and here we are on Bastille Day, July 14th, 2021. And, a couple weeks ago, I said when we get to June, I will be having more time. And I think I should never have said that because ever since I said that, it's been busier than ever. And then June just went by. So I didn't get a chance to do a video last night either, in part because I actually had a call from someone, one of these people that are a part of your past and I hadn't heard from in years. So you don't want to just say, hey, I gotta go and do a video. And that was a call that lasted like 2 hours. So sorry why I wasn't there last night. I wanted to be with you today. And let's, pick up some of the pieces. One thing I wanted to say, and I did say on Twitter the other day, is that if you are going to go to Humbl's get-together in Nashville at the end of September, let me know if maybe that's one thing you can put in the comments if you think about going. Thomas and I are going to go. We booked a place to stay, and so we'll be going there, and I look forward to that. I've been to Nashville a couple of times, but I never really got much of a chance to see it the way I would like. So it would be fun to get together if you were there, and we'll look forward to doing that. So that's number one. Number two, if you haven't looked at the last video I did, which was on InMode, ticker symbol INMD. That's Ida, Nancy, Mary, David. INMD, InMode. I would encourage you to look at that. That, as I said in the video, has long been one of my favorite stocks, long before I heard of Humbl. That really came to my attention about December of 2019. And it has grown a lot since then. They just increased their earnings guidance for the year to between $305 and $315 million. I was telling someone else that given their growth that I could see happening, I mean, you never know what screwy thing's going to happen in the world. Who knew that COVID was going to come around? But the growth that I could see happening would amount to, I could see InMode hitting $1 billion in revenues, $1 billion in revenues within about 3 to 4 years. You just never know. But because they have a product line and services that are universal and of interest to people across the world, I think this will be a growth company and continue to be a growth company. Now, that said, another stock that's somewhat in a similar vein that I touched on, Zynex, and you see ticker symbol ZYXI, so it was down today. Everything has basically been down. When I first brought this up, it was, I think, about $16. So it's in a bit of a trading range. Let's see, 5 days. You can kind of see there the action. However, I think this is going to be a great, sorry, I was getting a text from someone in the Netherlands that actually concerns Zynex. And I think this will be a great stock to have as well. And I'm going to be doing a follow-up story, which is why I was just getting that text. I'm going to be doing a follow-up story on this. We want to have in our portfolio stocks that are, not just one stock. You might want, Humbl. I've always been on the Humbl train, but I don't want to talk just about Humbl every night. Or not, even when I do bring it up, I don't want to bring solely up. It's not just only Humbl. You want to have a stable of growth stocks. And again, you could I would encourage you to have some of the leveraged index stocks. We've talked about those before. But I would encourage you to have a stable of growth stocks. So certainly Humbl, InMode, Zynex. Those are at least three that I would suggest are going to be stocks that are going to be doing well for you over the next 3 years. Now, a friend of mine who I got into Humbl a while back called me last night and said, "What do you think of Humbl?" And of course, almost everything in my holdings were down today. Let me just bring the Humbl price up again. So almost everything was down. It wasn't just Humbl, but Humbl was down too. And now my friend wanted to know, well, what do you think? And what I think is, first of all, it's hard for me to say if I don't know how much money you have and how many shares of Humbl you already have, because I don't want anybody to put all of their money just in Humbl. I mean, if Brian Foote asked me, I would say, Brian, you got so much, put some money in some of these other things too. However, that said, where we are down again to 92 cents, this is unbelievable. And I think it's just, in my estimation, going where I think we're going to go, I think this is a real bargain, okay? Should you buy some more? That's up to you. I can't really give you that guidance for the reasons I already said. I don't know if you got money. You ought to always have some kind of a cash reserve just for life. You got to go out and buy a pair of tires. Your transmission goes out. Something happens. You need to have some cash. But do I think that this would be a purchase now where you're going to end up making money on it? Yeah, I think that. So I can leave it at that. The other thing I would say, and I think I did say this on camera, sometimes I'm talking to people off camera and I forget all the things that I've said, is that if you are, if you have a core holding, let's just say $5,000, 5,000 shares. Let's say 5,000 shares. If you had a core holding, for the sake of discussion, of 5,000 shares, you might say, you could go in and buy Humbl at 92 cents and maybe buy 1,000 shares, buy 2,000 shares. That's up to you. And when it goes back to where it was just, not that long ago, I mean, within the last 5 days, last Thursday, it was at $1.17. So given to where that's like 24 cents. So let's just make math simple. Let's say it's 25 cents. And if it goes back up to $1.17 from where it is now, you bought 2,000 shares. If you pick up a quarter and you want to sell those 2,000 shares while holding on to your core holdings of 5,000 shares, then you just made a net profit of $500 on that trade. So that's one thing that you can do, and you could do that over and over again if you want, or pick whatever out point you want. You could buy it here. Could it go down further? Of course it could. May the 20th, it went down to 76 cents. But what do we always say? You buy in stages, you sell in stages. So, that's one thing you can do with Humbl. What I think in the larger story on Humbl is, because it's a new company, and I was saying to my friend, it's kind of like going camping, whatever analogy you want to make. If you go camping and you go, hey, let's go fishing, let's go boating, and you might say, well, look, before we do anything else, let's get the tent up, right? So you got to get all the poles out and spread the tent out and, put the tent up. And that's going to take you a while before you go out and do the other things that you went camping for. Fishing, boating, whatever. Humbl had to put the tent up, and it took them, a number of months to do that. And, we're not yet in the point in the company's history where we're going to be getting the revenue that we are anticipating getting over the next year, year and a half, 2 years. But that's going to start now. That's going to start to come in. So now, July 20, at the end of this month, will be the first meaningful, and I said this a couple of months ago, so I don't want you to think and hear so many people saying, well, you're always saying something. I was saying this before. The first quarter didn't matter. The second quarter, we're going to get the earnings for the second quarter at the end of July, or around there. That's going to be the first quarter where we're going to begin to have an inkling of where we're making money. So that's that. And as I said before, and then we go to October, and then we go to December. I guess the earnings would be in January for the fourth quarter. So anyhow, that's where we are. And so I just to say, the thing I would say, folks, is that on one hand, I counsel patience. And on the other hand, I would say that when you look at what, and I've said this before, when you look at what Brian Foote and his team are doing, they've done so much, and it would be different if we were sitting here and nothing was happening for the company. If they weren't getting the ETXs okay to trade in the United States, if they weren't getting any acquisitions, if they weren't doing any deals on NFTs, if they weren't doing signing up any of the new people with talent from other companies to build out the staff, if they weren't having the athletes first and the deal they're now coming out with the athletes, and we see them coming out virtually every day with some other athlete that now is going to be part of the Humbl team. If they weren't doing all of that, then we would say, well, what the heck's going on? What are you guys doing? But you know what? They are doing all that. They've done all of that in basically the last 6 months. In addition to, as I say, getting the tent up, finding out where you're going to be located, and buying the furniture and all the rest. For some, they'll think I'm making excuses. I'm just trying to put the moment in time in context. We said many times before, and I know so many of you agree with me, you want to hold on to this for the 3 to 5 year time frame, and maybe longer. Maybe it's a 10-year. But you don't want to say, or I know there's a lot of people, I bought this because I thought it was going to make me rich in a month. Or maybe at the longest, I thought it was going to make me rich in 3 months. That might have been your expectations, but those were unrealistic expectations, and you shouldn't have had that. I think if you want to be a real investor, this is what real investing is about. It's taking a position on a company based upon what the company is doing. Wish they didn't have this animated guy here. What the company is doing. Look at that, almost looks like I'm dancing. There you go. You want to go by what the company's doing, right? And this is where we are. So we go to a month chart. I'm like everyone else. It's not good news when you see it going down. I wish it were going up, and that would be great. But in the meantime, what we are able to do is look at the performance of the management team. So that said, let me know if you're going to be going to Nashville. As I say, that would be good. I will tell you that I'm going to be going not only to Nashville, but I'm going to be doing a number of, I think, some interesting programs coming up as we look at developments both in Humbl and as we look at developments in some of the other companies. And we'll be following that. I think what I, at this point, would want to do too is go back and kind of do an update on a number of the companies that we have talked about outside of Humbl, because I'm not always updating those as I should, and kind of see where we are, where were those stocks when we first talked about them, and where are they now. I think that would be a good thing. In the meantime, folks, I'll let you go. It's a beautiful weather day here in the Midwest. It's been awful soggy, and I hope you are enjoying your summer. I hope if you are watching this, maybe on your phone, out on the beach somewhere with the sun shining, that would be lovely. And like I said, it would be lovely to meet all the members of the Humbl family that are going to be going to Nashville. And we hoped it would be so good to get together and just have some laughs. In the meantime, have a lovely evening, and we will see you hopefully tomorrow night. Take care.